everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the second half of September and the new moon in Virgo that we have coming up on the 19th or 20th, depending on where in the world you live. We still have this ongoing grand trine in fire, this beautiful, inspiring equilateral triangle in fire, which is in the second half of September made up of the North Node at 23 of Leo, trine to Saturn at 21 of Sagittarius, and that's trine to Uranus at 27 of Aries. So if you have anything between 21 and 27, 28 of the fire signs, Aries, Leo or Sagittarius, you may really be feeling this inspiration that's very forward-looking, particularly if you've got anything in those degrees of Aries or Leo. It's very forward-looking, inspiring and creative. You might want more freedom in your life, particularly if you have the Aries emphasis, but very creative. Then on the 19th of September at 10:29 p.m. Pacific or at 6:29 a.m. UK time the next day, the 20th, we have our new moon at 27 degrees, 27 minutes of Virgo. Now, a new moon is always a new beginning. So see where that falls in your chart, and that can help you to set a new intention for the upcoming month. Is it falling in your 10th house? So you need to set a new intention for your career. Is it in the 11th house? You want to set a new intention for your ideals or your social network. So where it falls will condition how you plan your intentions. But we've got quite a pile up coming up in Virgo at the moment. A lot of planets have shifted from Leo into Virgo. So at this new moon, we have the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars all in Virgo. That's 5 planets in Virgo, plus Pluto in Capricorn, 6 planets in Earth. Earth is about manifestation, so we're taking the ideas, the inspiration from that grand trine in fire and making them manifest. Virgo in particular is about making things practical, getting down to earth, making things efficient, run like clockwork, being organised and methodical. So there's very much that work focus. So see where this falls in your chart, because this is an area of a lot of activity during the second half of September. Not only do we have 6 planets in Earth, we also have 8 immutable signs, because Virgo is a mutable sign itself, so we have 5 planets there. We also have Saturn in Sagittarius and Neptune and Chiron in Pisces. So 8 planets, including the Chiron asteroid Chiron, in mutable signs, which are chameleon-like. They're flexible, they're changeable, they're dexterous, they're adaptable. So this is wonderful for your creativity because it helps you to see things from an oblique point of view. And because we also at this new moon have Neptune opposing Mercury exactly, that is fabulous for your imagination, your intuition, again, your creativity. So that's really getting a boost. So see where this is happening in your chart, because as I say, there's a lot of emphasis there too. If Virgo falls in, say, the 11th house of your chart, that's connected to social media. And if you're putting out something on social media at the moment, with all that mutability, it has the potential to go viral because there are no boundaries with mutable signs. So that can be very successful for you. So also, the other side of Virgo is it's very related to the gut, to digestion. And so with this new moon in Virgo, it's a great time to think about going on a new regime of some kind. Can you go on a purification or detoxification diet, very linked to Virgo? Also, because Virgo rules the tiny, it's very linked to the gut microbiome. What can you do to boost your microbiome? Can you do some intermittent fasting perhaps, or eat certain foods? It's well worth investigating because this would be an excellent time to do that. In addition, at this new moon, really connected to what I've just been saying about the gut, the moon at 27 of Virgo is exactly opposing Chiron at 27 of Pisces, and squaring both of them, we have Saturn in Sagittarius. Now this is very connected to healing old wounds. the moon highlighting Chiron. But because the moon is in Virgo, a good way to do it is to look to natural remedies. Virgo is connected to the ancient wisdom of the earth, so things like homeopathy or herbalism, plant medicine would be very appropriate at this time if you're looking at any kind of physical healing. The other thing to consider with this, I mean, Saturn in that T-square will encourage us to put work into healing, but another way to look at this T-square is actually to have the wisdom to accept our wounds if they're not going to be healed in the short term. And what that does is withdraw energy from your attention, because we know that energy follows thought. So if we're giving a wound or a problem a lot of focus, we can make it bigger than it might otherwise be if we just withdraw attention from it. So that may be another way that you handle this at this new moon. Both ways can be potentially very productive. Then on the 22nd of September, we have the Libra equinox, when the sun moves into Libra. It also, within a couple of days, moves on to the supergalactic center, this powerhouse of cosmic radiation, magnetism, around which this vortex, around which many, many galaxies spin. It's a very powerful time at this equinox, and as we well know, the ancient peoples used to have ceremonies at this time. They recognized the power of it. We've got some very interesting aspects at this equinox as well. We have the dwarf planet Haumea, and Haumea is connected to the protection and the regeneration of the earth. That is directly opposing Eris, 23 of Libra, 23 of Aries. Eris is the spiritual warrior that wants to shift us to alignment with higher spiritual principles. Also, we have Jupiter tightly opposing Uranus at 26, 27 of Libra, Aries, and that opposition becomes absolutely exact on the 28th of the month. So in combination, these are about social activism, a surge for a new way of living and being that can protect and regenerate the earth. The earth is receiving an onslaught and has for many, many years of pollution, exploitation. We've had some record-breaking floods recently in South Asia. Also in Texas, we've had forest fires in California and in Europe, and we're losing many, many thousands of species, animal species, every year. So with the increased recognition of this is an increased demand by many people to start living in a different way. And if you have any planets between sort of 23 to 28 of the cardinal signs, these are Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, you might really feel this demand for a better way of living and social activism to that end. It's a surge also, if it's aspecting your planets, of wanting more freedom, wanting bigger horizons, wanting a shift in consciousness. Because the other thing that's happening right now with these aspects is Eris, the spiritual warrior, is exactly trine to the North Node at 23 of Leo, Eris at 23 of Aries. This is really about a shift of consciousness. So this is a very, very powerful time round about the equinox. Then on the 28th of September, Pluto becomes stationary direct. That is a very likely to be a very powerful day, or few days to either side of the 28th, because Pluto is the planet of power, also the planet of transformation. So we may see strong assertions of power in the world, or world leaders asserting their power in a strong way. It can be very helpful for us if we have anything round about 17 degrees of Capricorn, where Pluto is going to station. So from that point, Pluto then moves direct. Now this is very good news, because in the recent past we've had a lot of planets being retrograde. Now we have a lot of planets moving direct. We have Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and now Pluto. So again, there's this feeling of forward propulsion, forward movement with whatever project you're working on. And what's interesting as well is that Venus and Mars, by the end of the month, are coming very close in their conjunction. They'll be exact in conjunction in early October, but Venus is at 12 of Virgo, Mars is at 15 of Virgo, and they are in trine to Pluto at 17 of Capricorn. So if you have anything between 13 and, say, 18 degrees of the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, this might be a very, very successful, productive time for you, particularly if you've got the planetary emphasis in Virgo or Capricorn. You might see projects really jumping forwards now with all this direct motion and with that combination of Venus, Mars, and Pluto. On the 30th of the month, Neptune is making an exact opposition to Venus too. Is magical. That's a really magical aspect that can bring in this creativity and sensitivity again into the picture. So we have a lot going on in this second half, but very positive in many ways for us personally. So I really believe that planets each have a different frequency. We live undoubtedly in a vibrational universe. We live in a universe of frequency. So if there are areas of your life that aren't perfectly satisfactory, rather than focusing on them, try and focus on the frequency that you want to bring into your life and live that frequency rather than focusing on the problem. Very simple analogy is if we think of ourselves each as a radio, if we're tuned to the local hard rock station, we can't listen to peaceful, beautiful, classical music because we're not tuned to that frequency. So we need to shift our internal dial to be on that frequency that we're broadcasting out to reach that peaceful, beautiful, classical music, and that's what we will then receive. So if you think of that very simple analogy, I think it's very helpful for us. Now, very simple principle, harder in practice to catch all of our thoughts and emotions that run through the day. But astrology really is a language of co-creation. I've just finished writing my new book about this, How to Co-Create Using the Secret Language of the Universe. And there's a lot in that book about the practical side of co-creating as well as the theoretical side. So I hope you enjoy that. My original first book is republished this week with an extra almost 10,000 word chapter to it too. In addition, I'm also launching this week a set of companion videos to go with my new book, which have more detail in them. So it's quite busy. There's a lot going on, but thank you for listening and have a wonderful new moon in Virgo in September. Thanks.